Hi, Robert Redfern here again, and I've improved my lighting. A few people said I look like a ghost in the lighting from the computer, so I've got a professional light backing on the camera now to hopefully look less like a ghost, because I'm not a ghost. Okay, well, I mean, it's crazy going on in the UK. In fact, the whole of Europe. I don't know quite how bad it is in the USA because it's such a large country that I hear that New York's gone crazy and the usual places like San Francisco. I don't know about LA, but I've not been recently because I couldn't fly because they wouldn't let me fly. There you go. Or they wouldn't let anybody fly. So we've got schools, businesses, airlines, sporting fixtures closed, civil liberties are being closed, and many companies are possibly going to go bankrupt. I don't know how they're going to stop them because there's just no cash flow at all. And it's crazy. Millions and millions and millions. The government say they're going to give us millions, but who knows what's going to happen. I think the American idea is best. Let's send a big check to everybody in the country and let them spend it as they will. So, individual people will have the money, not companies, not banks, not all the rest of it. But anyway, there's some good news in the whole thing that I told you yesterday that the Fujifilm company have got this wonder drug which actually cures it within a few days, and the Chinese have accepted it. They've done their test with it as well, and so it's good news. It's good news over there, but of course, I'm a bit concerned that because it wasn't invented in the UK or the USA or Germany, whatever, that it won't be accepted here. And we'll see, because a lot of this is about profit for drug companies, let's be clear. But even the BBC reporter on the radio this morning that's in China said it's just really nice to see the restrictions being lifted. He's saying couples were walking out in the spring sunshine and everything looked lovely, which is nice. It's a really good news story from China, and I hope it's going to carry on because, of course, these things can spring back infections. But the news is not as good on the front, as I say, from the UK, and I know the rest of Europe. It's so authoritarian. I have friends in Spain. We have a house out in Mallorca. People that just go out to sunbathe, and when you sunbathe, you really get healthier because it kills the bacteria, any virus and bacteria. The sunshine is really good for us, but it also stimulates vitamin D3, which is super for the immune system. But even on the BBC this morning, they said martial law may be enforced in the UK. Now they said, but we don't think it will be. But I don't like people mentioning such things when martial law means that the military actually take control of the country, and not just the police, because our police are unarmed generally, as you know, and they are not really very it depends on what you're doing, of course. If you're calling somebody names, they'll come and arrest you. But if somebody's breaking into your house, they don't arrest you. That's another story anyway. So that's my not so good news in my newsletter, that everything's becoming authoritarian. I don't know why I can't say that word. Maybe I don't like it that much, actually. Why is my screen gone? There it is. So I hope it goes faster. Where's it just gone? I just had to close on my screen that I'm reading from. I'm trying to not ramble like I quite often do. And of course, because I wasn't touching the screen, it went and closed on me. There we go. I'll keep touching the screen. Anyway, what you're really interested in about the risk, and are you still at risk even though they've got drugs that will actually cure, they say, the coronavirus. I will start calling it the coronavirus now, because they had a couple of people didn't like me really saying coronavirus, and maybe we have a different sense of humour. That's okay. Because you've got to be a little bit humorous with all this crazy going on and the people running around and the governments running around, don't know what to do, like headless chickens. But I'm going to repeat again, 95% of the population, this is not my figures, these are epidemiologists, really serious researchers in all this. They say that 95% of the population are never at risk of dying. Not only that, they might not even know they've had the virus. Some people will get it, and people that people that eat a junk food diet, to be fair, you know what I mean, because or people that are obese, they become ill more than people that are healthier and eating a good diet. But generally, those people are not going to die at all. There are some people will get rushed to hospital, maybe 5 out of 100, and 4 out of 100 will be recovered by the good doctors, by the work they do. It's a fact that 1 out of every 100 will die, but those people would probably have died anyway, and that's a fact of life, because people that have lung disease will put themselves at greater risk, because when you have lung disease, you don't get enough oxygen in your body. Quite often people will die from heart failure, but it's really lung disease that's caused it, because your heart needs oxygen all of the time, and if it can't get oxygen, then it's going to have a problem. And when you have lung disease, you can't breathe properly, you can't get the respiratory system working properly. So that's the really big thing, is that only 1 out of every 100 are likely to die. You see bigger figures than that by everybody, but I've looked and looked at all the figures around the world. Now, the one problem country is with figures is Italy. Now, of course, so many people die. I told you on previous evenings that millions of people die from lung disease and sepsis every year. In the UK, it's thousands every week actually die from sepsis and lung disease and heart failure. Every week, not 500 or 1,000, but thousands every week. And that must be the same in Italy. So I suspect their bad rate is because they've been so enthusiastic, saying that anybody that dies has died of coronavirus, and really they've died of lung disease, and that's what's really been the cause. It's probably tipped them over the edge, and it might be tipping a load over the edge, because, as you know, in Italy they eat a lot of pasta and bread, and anybody that reads my books, that follows me, knows that grains and cereals, bread and pasta are the foods which really, really are unhealthy. So, 20 years ago, I wrote a book, because I just remind you, my mother died at age 62 many years ago, in nearly 40 years ago, possibly. And that really got me interested in natural health, because I've got a family. I've got 3 children and 8 grandchildren, and I didn't have them all then, but I've got 8 grandchildren now, and I'm really concerned about them. Partly because some of them, my grandchildren, it affects young people more. They're listening to the media about how many people are going to die, and they're starting to get worried, even though Granddad says, you have no chance. You're taking your supplements, you're eating a good, healthy diet. There's no chance, but they still get worried. So I wrote my book 20 years ago. It's the very first book I wrote. I've got 30 books now, but that was the very first book, because when I first introduced serrapeptase just over 20 years ago, and people were taking serrapeptase and a few other supplements, not very much, and not changing their diet, and they were reporting back that they were getting great results with their lung disease. So that's why I wrote the book. I've updated it many, many times over the last 20 years. And, we have, the definitive plan now in my book, and it's in the newsletter today, which you can download it, you can read it, you can order a printed copy if you want, but you have to follow the plan. And that's what I'm going to go through now. This is my evening for a new, for those that don't know, I've sent a newsletter out to people that subscribe to my newsletter. I do this every Thursday, and they've got the newsletter, and lots of different topics every Thursday, and I will do this every Thursday anyway now. This is what I plan to do. But I want to go through the plan because I get people email me saying, it's not working quite good enough. And when I check them on this checklist, they go, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. You've got to do it. If you have lung disease now, I don't want to frighten you about because you're seriously at risk. I want to warn you and inspire you to make the changes, and the plan is all there. And this is 10 steps now that I'm going to give you, and it's not boring. I'll be quick as possible with each step because I took nearly an hour last night, and I got told off by my wife because dinner was. In fact, I can smell dinner now. Actually, dinner was going cold. So the first step, and the most critical and important, is to stop all grains and cereals, all breads, cakes, cookies, breakfast cereals, rice, potatoes, and pasta. Really, really, all of those. I know you eat them. I know people say, oh, well, they've eaten these since time began. No, they haven't. And when they did, then disease followed. In the Middle Ages, you had the Black Death, and people were so poor then, they were eating lard pies. That's pastry with lard in it. They couldn't afford the meat that the wealthy people had. They were eating lard pies. And of course, we know what happens next. Disease follows. So bread, pastry, biscuits, breakfast cereals, rice, potatoes, pasta, cut them out of your diet. I have lots of articles on this, and in fact, I think I've got an article with 50 different reasons why you mustn't eat them. But you have to trust me on that at this point in time, or go and research my articles at naturalhealthynews.com. But there's lots of reasons. I get people saying, no, it can't be true. It is true. And the reason I'm spending so much time on that is because I've had people who have cleared up their lung disease, they've stopped eating them, they've started eating them again, and it's come back. That's how it correlated it is. Number 2 is stop all high sugar foods and drinks. It's easy to drink eat high sugar foods and drinks because they're everywhere, and you're offered them. Go to somebody's house, go to a party, whatever. Do your best to stop them. If you, for step 1 and 2, if you go to my website, reallyhealthyfoods.com, you'll see tons of great recipes without all those. You'll see tons of how to make cakes without sugar and carbs, how to make delicious sweets, chocolates, all sorts. It's all there. You just have to put yourself out. Just stop buying this stuff from the food industry. Now, we also need to stop fats, which are unhealthy, and there's a whole bunch of them actually, but this is just a few. Margarine, eat margarine for a healthy heart. No, eat margarine and die young. Margarine, soy oil, corn oils, canola, all those fats and oils are really bad for you. But you must consume high levels of healthy fats, and that's the sort of fats in avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, and again, these are all on the reallyhealthyfoods.com. Now, one of the causes of disease, all disease, is fungus. And fungus gets into your body from breathing, from your ears, believe it or not, if you've got perforated eardrums, and also from your digestive tract if you're not having probiotics, because the candida grows there, it burrows through the walls of the arteries, the intestines. So if your house is damp and smells of fungus, you're likely to be sick, very sick. already sick actually, or frequently sick, the best thing you can do is move out if it's possible, and go and stay with a friend or a relative if that's possible. I'm talking about if these are people with serious lung disease now, they're at great risk. If you can't move out and go and live with anybody else, then purchase a spray bottle with a really good nozzle that creates a misting action, and mix sodium bicarbonate, lots of it, in water. Shake that up till it's dissolved, and just go and spray the whole house. Spray the air, spray the walls, spray the skirting boards, spray everywhere. Spray settees, everywhere, because sodium bicarbonate kills fungus. That's why I tell people to take sodium bicarbonate, because it kills fungus in your intestines, and it gets it. If you have sodium bicarbonate, which you should do, it's a great for cleaning. You can clean everything, clean your bathroom, clean your toilet with sodium bicarbonate, and it'll kill any germs and fungus. That was number 6. Number 7 is drink 6 glasses of water a day, 500 ml or 16 ounce in the USA. Drink these glasses of water over the day with a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/3 teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate in each one, because this way you're going to drink it down into the digestive tract, and it'll go through into the bloodstream and go around your body to and eventually get to your lung. Sodium bicarbonate can be delivered by intravenous. If you've got a friendly doctor or a qualified nurse, they can put sodium bicarbonate in an intravenous drip, and it can be mixed with magnesium or with vitamin C or both. You can't do this though. It has to be a doctor or a qualified nurse. But if you've got a friendly doctor, a friendly nurse, I mean, in the UK now there's lots of clinics doing this, and I've just come back from Melbourne, visiting family over there, and I just walked into clinics on the high street there, and no appointment, just literally had it done straight away. So it's quite important that you get as much sodium bicarbonate into your bloodstream as possible, because that will make its way into to the lungs. Now, there is another way to get sodium bicarbonate into the lungs. That is to put a 1/4 teaspoon into a nebulizer, and that's a small amount of water, but you're putting a 1/4 teaspoon. Make sure that's dissolved in there, shake it about into something else, put it in. It's going to be distilled water. So that's a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate into a small nebulizer container, and nebulize it deep into the lungs. Just nebulize it as you would. If you're already got lung disease, you may have been given a nebulizer by the doctor to take the drugs. Salbutamol, is it? Whatever, doesn't matter. But the more sodium bicarbonate you can get into your lungs, the better, because there's always fungus in a person with lung disease in the lungs. It's you can go on the internet and look, and you'll see videos with cameras going down looking at the fungus, and you'll see a few videos where they put a tube down and spray the sodium bicarbonate around the lungs, and literally kills all. Well, actually, that's for lung cancer. You'll see it over a couple of days, all the fungus and the cancer disappearing, but that's another story. So number 8, that's number 7. Number 8 is you've got to walk. And if you can walk at all, that's good. If you can walk 5 miles or build up to walking 5 miles every day, that's even better, because there's 2 reasons for walking. One is you get better circulation around your body, but you get better circulation of oxygen, because when you're walking, you breathe better. You breathe in a more relaxed way than if you're sitting down. You're sitting down, you're crunched up and you can't do it. So walk up to 5 miles a day. And if you can't walk for whatever reason, some people can't, they should lie down and do diaphragmatic breathing. Again, go on the internet, go onto YouTube, diaphragmatic breathing. And that's breathing from the tummy. So when you're breathing from the tummy, you're getting a much better, because if you watch anybody with a lung disease and they just go, that's actually called anxiety breathing. No, they're anxious because they can't breathe. But if they could just lie down and breathe from the diaphragm, they'll get 4 to 5 times more oxygen into the bloodstream from the diaphragm. So that's very important to get oxygen around the body. If you can't walk, if you can walk 5 miles, see, once you start walking to begin with, it's a problem. But after a while, if you can do the 5 miles, don't kill yourself to begin with. Just build up to it if you're not used to doing it. But that's every day. As human beings, we should walk 5 miles every day. I know we don't do it, but we should do. So number 9 is you need to take the missing nutrients. Now, that's all shown in my book, but there are lots of nutrients that are no longer in the food chain. Doesn't matter whether it's organic food or not. They're not there. Selenium is generally not in the food chain, and iodine is not generally in the food chain. There's lots of them. Magnesium, which used to be in the food chain up to 60 years ago, has now reduced by 50% the amount of magnesium in the food compared to 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So magnesium is a critical mineral for the immune system. So if you wonder why we're a little bit weaker and there's more and more people getting sick, and because they are really, don't believe that everybody's getting better because this wonderful medical system. It's because the medical system does not give you all the vitamins and minerals that you need. They just don't do it. They try to say you'll get it all if you eat a healthy diet, but they don't tell you not to eat carbs and sugar, which is the worst part of a diet. So make sure you get all the nutrients that you need. And number 10, the last of all, is get out into the sunshine. If you're going to do this walking, then get out into the sunshine. The second you get any sunshine, if the sun comes out for an hour in the day, you walk out in that sunshine, because sun kills virus, bacteria, and whatever. It also stimulates vitamin D3, the most critical. It's called a vitamin, but it's actually a hormone, but let's not split hairs. Vitamin D3 is the most critical nutrient, I think, for preventing cancer as well, for lung disease, for multiple sclerosis, the autoimmune diseases. So you need to get out in the sun as much as possible. If you can sunbathe in the sun, that's marvelous for you as well. At the moment, I'm afraid you can't go and sunbathe in Spain on those beautiful beaches because the police arrest you for doing that. Crazy world, yeah, crazy world. So, I want people to be healthy. It's as simple as that. And we will do anything. We've got health coaches to coach you through it. You can talk to them. Well, the first one's free, but there's just a small charge for any other conversations you have, actually. And it is a small charge. And that's only for, to give people a value, that they're getting something of value. Because sometimes if you give things away free all the time, because we're a not-for-profit organisation, but sometimes it's just better to feel as though you're contributing to everything. And that's it, folks, for tonight. I want, if you've got my newsletter, please help me by sharing good health through Natural Healthy News, through all of our social media links as well. Because the more you share it, because let me tell you, we're being censored. Google censors us, even Facebook, and even this is on Facebook. Facebook censors what we do. And Amazon, even though Amazon sells products, they're censoring. In fact, they've just censored us now, and we're going to fight it, actually. They're telling us to take serapeptase off Amazon. This is the sort of problem every day. I just go in and go, what's the problem today, folks? You know what I mean? And the guys in the office just, they go, you won't believe this, and this is the sort of thing, But we will win out, and we will always win out. So thank you for listening. I'll be on at the same time tomorrow night, and hopefully some even better news for you. Take care.